Hello everybody, welcome to this very special video presentation here on Cm42TV. My name is Chris Moffat and I am the host of the Good Bit podcast, and I'm here today to talk to you and take you through my journey throughout the month of October 2017 in a video diary style as I watch some scary movies here in Horror Movie Month. So as I speak to you right now, we are in the last week of October and Halloween is vastly approaching. So throughout the month of October, I took it upon myself and gave myself the challenge of watching some scary movies. And as you'll hear throughout this video, throughout the month of the little reviews I made, I'm not a very big fan of scary movies. And that's simply because I don't really like to be scared. And I know, horror is a big favourite in terms of movie lovers and stuff like that, and that's cool because everyone's got their favourites and stuff. But throughout the month I do question people's sanity, and I do wonder why people love horror films so much. Throughout October, I have been watching some scary movies and some of the more famous horror films of all time. And after each one I've sat down and I've recorded a short, depending on which film we're talking about, a short review on the film and my thoughts of being scared and not being a fan of scary films, how I enjoyed the film. This is a big compilation, vlogumentary, video diary sort of thing of all my videos I've made throughout October 2017, brought to you today on Cm42TV as we look back at Horror Movie Month. So sit back, relax, prepared to get scared, because I certainly did throughout this month. I've got a few more that I want to do before October ends, and even if we move into November, there's no harm done there. So check it out, here we go, October 2017 Horror Movie Month here on Cm42TV as I indulge in some horror films which I'm not particularly a huge fan of because I haven't seen very many. So here we go, Horror Movie Month, Cm42TV, let's do it.
Hello everybody.
Hello.
So we just saw Flatliners.
Aye.
Starring Ellen Page and what's his name for Rogue One? Cassian for Rogue One.
Can't mind his name.
Diego something. It was pretty good. We didn't understand that it was going to be such a horror. Not horror in a bad way, that was a horror. Horror, it was quite scary.
Didn't I? Scary movie, but I was alright.
It was good, yeah. I don't tend to like scary movies, but I quite like that one. But I did jump quite a few times.
Me as well.
I found that one scarier than It.
I did not find it scary than that, no. I was scared the whole time. Every time I saw them, in that situation, I would go, oh.
Yeah.
I'm just not very good with scary movies.
Yeah, me neither. I just get scared so easily. And it's films like that that make my mind go weird. Like the reason I say I don't like horrors is because my imagination goes mental.
That's
and it's for films like that.
I feel like I'm going to go home and it's going to happen to me and I'm going to,
I'm not going to be able to sleep at night because when I dream, I don't have bad dreams.
I managed to be alright with it, so I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine. But anyway, yeah, it was a good film. So let's go for the train and get home safely. 2 days in a row. Yesterday was Flatliners. Today, another scary horror film that was released this year about the water, sharks, and about a relationship of two sisters. Can you guess what it is yet? Me neither. 47 Meters Down. We're going to watch scary movies this year, this month. Let's watch classic scary movies and then 2 days in a row, two films that came out this year. However, I did want to see this when it came out in cinemas because I love shark films, or I love Jaws. Jaws, the full Jaws films are some of my favourite films to watch, especially the first one. So when I saw this one came out, I was really looking forward to seeing it because I really enjoyed The Shallows, either this year or last year. I think it was last year, with Blake Lively, I think, who was in it. I enjoyed that film a lot. I love shark films. Sharknado, not so much. I've only seen the first one. I know there's like 18 of them. But this is a new shark film, 47 Meters Down, and we're going to watch it right now. Flatliners was much scarier than I thought it would be, and we'll see how this is. So it's about an hour and a half long. Not too bad. I don't like, especially scary films, just get it on with it and just get it done. It'd be good if it was 47 minutes long. It's not. It's only 47 meters down. Okay, here we go. Okay, tonight's film of choice, 47 Meters Down, shark flick, or as I would have called it, It's Going to Be Okay, or It's Going to Be Fine, which were the two most said phrases in the entire film. Yeah, I enjoyed the film, it was good. Nothing too scary, I wasn't bothered by much of it, it's just the thought of it, you know what I mean? The reason I love Jaws so much is just the thought of the situation. Of course I don't want to be in that situation, but it's really intriguing. It interests me to see what people do in that sort of survival instinct that's necessary for moments like that. So like in Jaws, three guys that don't get on and they're on this boat and the biggest shark they've ever seen in the world is literally haunting their boat, and they've got like a certain amount of bullets, and they've got these sort of air tanks that aren't working, so they need to come up with some sort of way to sort of survive and hopefully make it back to their family. So that's kind of the reason I watch it every single time it's on. It's weird, it's one of those films. Jaws is that film for me. Everybody's got that film. It's on, so you watch it. It doesn't matter what point of the film that it's at. It could be the last 20 minutes, it could just be starting, it could be the finale. You just put it on, and if it's on, you just have it on, you watch it and you enjoy it every single time. It's almost like you find something new every single time, and I've said it before, I think Jaws is the best film ever made, just the way it's done. Like cinematography, there's very little of it, if any. But it works because it's the 70s, and it's like, I don't know, I just think it's the best film ever made. Find a film that's better, thought out and better crafted than that, So when it comes to shark films, I'm always pretty biased because Jaws is pretty much my favourite film. It depends on the time of the year and the flavour of the month, what you consider to be your favourite film. Star Wars is Star Wars, so it's going to be Star Wars no matter what. And I think this point came up in a recent recording of the podcast, which I'm sure I'll get to at some point, but like now Christmas time is Star Wars time, and that's the best invention that the world has ever produced. So I suppose Star Wars is my number one, but Jaws is going to be my number two, forever and ever. So anyway, this was a good film. It's just your typical scary monsters that are kind of attacking people. Will they survive, will they not? The sisters were kind of annoying me. No matter how many times they were warned, they just weren't staying in the cage because they're in this cage. Basically what happens is there's these two sisters, they go on holiday to Mexico, and they want to cut loose, they want to relax for their holiday. Apologies for the late, but it's late. They want to cut loose on this holiday to Mexico, so what they decide to do, with no experience whatsoever, they decide to go scuba diving in a shark cage and try and see the sharks. So they go down in the shark cage and the thing breaks, the hinge comes loose and breaks, and the cage plummets to the bottom of the ocean, or what they think is the bottom of the ocean, 47 metres below shore or whatever. And no matter how many times they're told they have to stay in the cage, the Coast Guard's coming, we're sending down flares, we're sending down more oxygen, don't worry about it, stay in the cage because the sharks can't get you and stuff like that, and don't make noise. I've never seen Jaws. Have these girls never seen Jaws? You don't make noise. You don't make noise. Or if you get cut of blood, you cover the blood. You stop the blood from dripping, because the shark will be able to come and find you. Especially the noise. There's a part where someone's down looking for them, and one of the girls picks up a rock, not Dwayne, but a rock from the bottom of the ocean, and starts hitting the cage. Attracting sound, attracting the shark. Idiot. They're told to stay in the cage, they don't stay in the cage, they continue to leave the cage to try and find ways out. Just be responsible, for feck's sake. But they're not responsible. They're young, silly teenage girls. They're probably in their 20s. Yeah, anyway, overall, enjoyable film. Nothing major. It's a good one for horror movie month because it's kind of relevant because it's meant to be scary. But there's a few others that I'm looking forward to watching this month that have came out recently. So October's going to be a good month, so this is kind of a good month to sort of document here with Scary Movie Month. There you go, film number 2 of Horror Movie Month here with the Good Bit Podcast, Cm42TV, whatever. 47 metres down, or as I would like to call it, it's going to be fine. Okay, hello everybody. It is the 4th of October, and tonight's movie is not a horror film. It is a future classic. I'm quoting it right now, a future classic. It's going to be a classic in about 10 years' time. Nocturnal Animals is one of my favourite films from last year. I haven't seen it since last year. It was about this time last year, September sort of time. Stay tuned for my review later. I know it's not really a horror film, but it's a film anyway. Nocturnal Animals tonight, Park Street. Be there. You can't be because you're watching this later at home. But yeah, check out Nocturnal Animals. I'll be back with my up-to-date thoughts after I watch the film again. Hello everybody, welcome back. Horror Movie Month continues. We are now on the 6th of October. Last time I spoke to you, or addressed the camera, was on Wednesday when I watched Nocturnal Animals. And no, it is not a horror film, but it's worth talking about because I think it was something that people missed last year. So it came out in November, I checked. It came out in November of 2016, and I remember watching it at the time thinking it was fucking incredible. But as time went on, I was thinking about it again, and I was thinking that's going to be a classic in the future. And then I went to the world famous 101 at Park Street Theatre yesterday and watched it on the big screen again, and it was a shame because the sound was all messed up. And it was even better than I remember. Just what a fucking film. I don't know why that wasn't in my top 10 for 2016. I had films like Everybody Wants Some, and I had The Jungle Book in there, and I had The Nice Guys in my top 10, of course. And it was right up there with everything else. Jake Gyllenhaal, Amy Adams. Amy Adams at her best, can I just say, because I'm not a huge fan of hers, but definitely at her best. Jake Gyllenhaal, probably my favourite actor, and one of the best actors out there today. Tom Ford directed this, and Tom Ford is known for fashion and clothing lines and stuff like that, and design and stuff. So when that was first announced that Tom Ford is going to be directing a film, I'm sure everybody was thinking, no, at least the costumes will be good. And he ended up putting together a fucking masterpiece. What else has he done? He's done another film. This is his second film. But the other film that he's done is A Single Man from 2009, and I heard that was even better. I've not seen it, but yeah, Nocturnal Animals. It's about a guy, Jake Gyllenhaal's character is a writer, and Amy Adams, Susan, her name in the film, doesn't believe in him and doesn't think he's a very good writer, so they split up and stuff, and probably not over that, but just they split up for their own reasons. He writes a novel, and he sends her the novel and says, have a read of this, and she's reading, and as she's reading the novel, you see it happen, and it's just an incredible way of showing narrative, which is an incredibly annoying word. You need to look at the narrative in this and look at the way it jumps back and forward, and it's like flash forwards and flashbacks, but then the current moment and stuff like that, and then it's all about her trying to sort of reconnect with her ex-husband over this incredible novel that he's written. It's just incredible. And Michael Shannon is is one of the most underrated actors I've ever ever seen. Just so good in everything, and this is probably the best I've ever seen him. He's playing a sort of cop guy within the novel. He's got lung cancer. I know it's not horror, so I won't spend too much time on it. However, I felt like I had to be talked about again because it's something that people definitely missed last year. Yeah. And you know, I've got a weird thing when I watch a good film. And I think it's easier. I prefer watching great films for a second time. Because you don't know it's a great film until you watch it the first time. So once you've seen it the first time, you go, okay, that's good. You can trust it now. So when you go back the second time and watch it, you don't need to worry about falling asleep or thinking it's rubbish because you know it's good. So I'm going to start doing that with films that I really, really like. I'm going to watch them again, a few months later, and then I'll enjoy it even more. This is a perfect example. So anyway, Nocturnal Animals, watch it for the acting, watch it for the story, and watch it for the narrative. Oh, it makes me cringe, that word. Who knows where the spirit will take us, because last night I was at Usher Hall seeing Alter Bridge, my favourite band, and it was incredible. The best concert I've ever been to. Just feckin' incredible. Tonight I'm going to the Highs Row to see Impractical Jokers, my favourite TV show. Seeing them live, the Where's Larry tour. But I've been doing well watching the films and stuff, so I'll get back to watching. Who knows what's going to come next, so we'll see. I'll see, and so will you.
Alright, so since the last time I left all of you beautiful people, a lot of things are beautiful people. It was a great song. The beautiful people, the beautiful people. Of course I digress as usual, and as I sit here in my new chair in the corner of my living room, the Good Bit studio is right there. All the episodes of the podcast are recorded at that table up there. That's been doing great as well. Thank you very much, everybody who's been checking out the podcast. And during Horror Movie Month, since it is October and since it is Horror Movie Month, I released episode 26. And episode 26 of the Good Bit podcast was all about the movie It, the remake of Stephen King's 1990 TV series classic, all about Pennywise the Clown. The new version from 2017. Our Good Bit episode is of course live right now on Podomatic.com, on Podbean, on iTunes, all sorts of places. Anyway, yes, back to the point of this. I watched the one and only The Shining, ladies and gentlemen. I watched The Shining for the first time ever. The first time I've ever seen The Shining. And when going into this horror movie month, I didn't really think much of it. I didn't think, oh shit, I'm going to have to get scared here. I didn't think that. I just, it's horror movies, and I've not seen many horrors, and that'll be great for the video. I kind of underestimated the fact that I would be scared. I watched 47 Metres Down, wasn't scared. Flatliners, a couple of jumps, but not really scared. They're the two, films I've watched. Nocturnal Animals, which is not a horror, but still watched it and thought it was fucking brilliant. And I guess that kind of distracted me. So I watched a proper horror, like The Shining, when it's considered one of the scary movies of all time, and I've never seen it, and of course I've heard it for years being incredible and scary. So I thought, here we go, here's the perfect opportunity. Let's watch a classic film that I've never seen. The movie is feckin' incredible. It's amazing, as we all know, but sadly I couldn't really focus on that, and there was a few times where I was like, that is just the best in terms of shooting the film. Like, a lot of the shots were really incredible, really beautiful shots, long shots, and one take sort of things when they're walking down a corridor and they'll walk right past the camera and stuff, like Birdman, a more recent example, and lots of Wes Anderson like stuff. It's a Kubrick film, so it's going to be really weird anyway, but with the beautiful landscapes and the beautiful backgrounds and the symmetry and the walls and stuff like that, there was some of that in there. And then of course the Kubrick styles of the close-ups on the people's faces and stuff like that, the random flashes of moments. At moments I forgot it was so scary. And mate, I got so scared. And it wasn't it's not a jump scare movie. I've said this, I'm sure I've said this in this video. And when it comes to horror films, it's not the jump scares that get me, it's my feckin' mind thinking about, like, ways that this could affect me. And I'm not really scared of anything, really. I thought I wasn't scared of anything until I watched The feckin' Shining. The Shining got to me. The Shining really scared me. I tweeted about it. The Shining is very scary, because it feckin' is. I'm sick of people saying, The Shining's not scary. You may as well watch Scream for all that matter. It's just as scary as Scream. Fuck off! The Shining is terrifying! And again, it's not jump scares, is it? It's more like the psychological stuff, and it's the tension. And of course it's The Shining. It's one of the most fucking well-known movies ever. So I know about certain things, like Here's Johnny, and I know that Jack Nicholson, fucking amazing. Jack Nicholson's performance in that film is ridiculous. What's her name? Shelley Duvall is a scary person. She just looks scary. Perfect casting for that film. The son was great as well, being ill and being possessed and being psychic. And the bit when he's just going round the feckin' hotel in his wee bike. I have a little baby cousin who's 1.5, and he goes around in these wee things, like these wee toy cars and stuff, and it's just like any child would, except it's a feckin' haunted hotel. And the bit, I knew it was coming, I'm getting scared thinking about it now, the bit of the two wee girls at the bottom of the corridor, I knew it was coming because I'd seen it before. Well, maybe not seen that the particular moment before, but I knew of it and stuff, and I'd seen memes and stuff like that. It's terrifying! The Shining is terrifying, but amazing. Like the best horror film I've ever seen, and the scariest horror film, or the scariest film I've ever seen. I will not be going back to The Shining anytime soon, which I'm kind of sad about, because it was feckin' brilliant and I did really enjoy it. And the fact that it's a 2.5 hour film, you know, it takes a while for me to really get set into a long film. Like, if I'm at the cinema and I'm watching a long film, fine, but it needs to be like a good one. But the fact that I was still engaged and I was still drawn to the TV and glued to the TV, even though I was feckin' petrified, showed it was such a great film. So The Shining is amazing. It's a must watch for horror movie month and Halloween time. But my word, boys and girls, it's terrifying. Making progress here in the horror movie month. We are, today is the 9th. We're moving into double digits. I've got another feckin' 20 days of this. 3 weeks of scary movies. I don't know why I've done this. I'm starting to question why I've signed myself up for this. I've got a few planned that I want to watch over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully I'll get to them. But until then, I'll catch you back later with my progress of horror movie month. The Shining. Oh, here's Johnny. Fuck off, Johnny. Okay, it is now the 18th of October. Over halfway through the month. How am I coping with horror movie month? Coping, I'm fine. It's not as if the films are haunting me. However, in terms of watching films, it's not been as successful as I would have hoped. I think it's because I started watching scary films and then I was like, what am I doing to myself? So I'm not really wanting to watch anymore. But I'll still, watch a few more before the end of the month, obviously. But I didn't expect this to be a every single day thing anyway. I'd like to get a few done anyway, and I have got a few, especially the classics that I've never seen. They were kind of the priority, like The Shining, for example. I had to watch The Shining, and ones I'd missed, sort of thing. And this one that I'm going to talk about right now, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is another classic that I'd never seen that I wanted to get done. From 1974, the original, I decided to watch. I know there's a remake from 2003 or 4, 3 I think. I have it on IMDb here. It says, 2 siblings visit their grandfather's grave in Texas, along with 3 of their friends, and are attacked by a family of cannibalistic psychopaths. Which is straight to the point. Good enough with description. Now, the pictures here for the cast, IMDb here, they all look dreadful. The picture for the guy who plays Leatherface, Gunnar Hansen, is a picture of Leatherface, as if like he doesn't actually have a real face. You get Marlon Burns, Edwin Neal, Alan Dazinja, Paul Partian, William Vale, Terry McNinn, Jim Sydow, John Duggan. Star-studded cast. It's got a 75 Metascore and a 7.5 IMDb range, so it's a pretty well received film. It's a classic. I've known about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for my entire life. Of course you have, because it's one of those classic films that everybody talks about, horror or not. Did I enjoy it? Yes, I did enjoy it. Was I scared? I mean, not really scared. It was more freaked out a little bit. The family of psychopaths, the cannibalistic psychopaths, as it says on IMDb, is the most terrifying part about it. Leatherface is pretty scary, but it's not like. That's not the scariest part, because it's just ridiculous. It's a big fat man who's clearly, I don't even know, a hermit and a weird sociopath. he's got this fake mask on with a chainsaw and is wielding about. Like, that's ridiculous. That's clearly out of a movie. But it's being captured and being trapped with these people and with that family is the scary part of the film. I loved how they picked up one of them on the way there. Like, I'm sure if you've seen the film, and most people who love horror films have probably seen this film, when they pick up the guy on the way to the grandfather's house, they just think he's a sort of random, guy, hitchhiker. Turns out to be one of the psychopaths, and I don't know, maybe it was a plan, to sort of plant the seed, and then maybe they knew they were going there, sort of thing, or maybe it was just a big coincidence. I loved the twist when the girl was named Sally. Sally's running, she finds the gas station that she's been hoping that she was going to go to for safety, because it is pretty scary, the fact they're in the middle of nowhere with no lights and no roads and no cars or anything like that. It's pretty scary, their friends keep disappearing and stuff. But it is their own fault, just like any other horror film. It is really your own fault. You shouldn't be moaning about anything. But she finds the gas station and she thinks she's safe and she's found security and stuff like that, and then she goes into the little shop to find this nice old man who they have spoken to earlier, and it's kind of like there's a bit of comfort there, and he goes and gets the car and stuff like that, and it's not like a big review like, I'm going to capture you. He just puts on his wee thing and he sharpens his knives and stuff, and it's like, you're here, it's going to happen. And I quite liked that. It wasn't like your stereotypical, yes, it's me, dun 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 dun, big thing. It was kind of just like, yep, you've came into my shop and I'm exactly what you should be the most scared about. So that was a nice little twist. They take her back to the little house, they torture her, and she gets away. Spoiler. I actually quite liked that she got away. And maybe that's me being a good person that I am. Being like, yeah, fucking yes. But I don't think it is. I think I'm at a stage in my life where sad endings are quite refreshing. It's actually nice not, a happy ending not to happen. The fact that I kind of did want her to have a happy ending. I didn't like the people. I didn't like the cannibalistic people, which are a good thing. I shouldn't like them. She runs away and she finds a guy on the road. The poor black guy gets out of the truck and he's like, oh my god, there's Leatherface, and they drive away to safety. Which I quite liked. I don't know why. I just was kind of happy that was the ending. It wasn't like she didn't die. I just thought that's what was going to happen. But yeah, good film, I suppose. It's only an hour and 23. So it's a short one, and I feel myself watching these horror films just wanting them to end. I don't enjoy them like I should. I don't enjoy. People are like, oh, horror's my favourite genre. Bullshit. No way. You can't watch a horror film for 3 hours. That It thing from 1990, the 2-part special, 3 hours long. Fuck that. For the sake of this video and for the sake of the rest of the month, of course I'll watch some more. But horror films scare me. I don't want them to carry on. I want them to end. So I hope they do. So maybe that makes me a scaredy cat, but I've admitted that loads of times. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm very happy that I watched it to check off the list of classics that I've never seen. But is it one of the greatest horror films of all time? Certainly, indeed, it is not. But it's really good, so check it out if you're a horror fan. But yeah, let's see what else we do this month. I've got a couple more that I kind of want to do, but I don't know if I'll get to. But we'll see. I don't think I'm going to be dressing up this year. It's a bit too much effort. However, last year I put together a Chewbacca costume within a couple of days, which I was pretty happy about. But yeah, we'll see where the spirit takes us later. Okay, welcome back. It is incredibly late on October 19th, 2017. Incredibly late? How late do you say? 1:43 in the morning. So the 20th really, to the next day. So yesterday, October 18th, I was at the cinema to see another horror film. And I'm starting to think that the horror movie month thing is just the way of sort of branding it into the one sort of thing. Because some of these films I'm watching aren't really horror, but if I was to get them on DVD or Blu-ray and I had like a big collection of stuff and I put them into different genres, I would put these films in genre. The only one that I wouldn't do would obviously be Nocturnal Animals. The only reason I wanted to talk about that in this video though was just because I loved it so much and wanted more people to sort of recognise it as being a great film. So I know I'm not trying to convince you that Nocturnal Animals is a horror film, but there's certain ones like Flatliners, for example. It's quite scary, but you wouldn't really. It's not a gore fest or anything like that. But if you got it on Blu-ray, you would put it in the horror section. And this is another example. Last night seeing Double Date, and it was a great film. One that's going to be very overlooked and underrated, I imagine. But again, it was more of a comedy, more of an adventure sort of thing, thriller maybe. But there was some scary parts, and definitely, the second half of the film, the last sort of half an hour, is your typical sort of low-budget independent horror film. But this one was called Double Date, and it stars Danny Morgan, Georgia Grom, Michael Socha, Kelly Wentham. Loads of good ones. Directed by Benjamin Barfoot. because he's done hundreds of good things. He's not done much he doesn't like, but Benjamin Barefoot, if this is his first major film, congratulations, because you knocked it out of the park. This was a hilarious movie. It's going to be one of my most favourite, underrated and sort of secret underground films of 2017. I get to a point sometimes where I'm laughing so much I do get the giggles, because I'm quite a funny person. That's not the wrong thing to say. Funny looking person. I've got a funny sense of humour. I suppose that's a good way to put it. A funny personality. Whereas if I start laughing a lot, I'm going to be laughing for a long time. I like to laugh. I get the giggles very easily. There was a couple of points in this film where I was, howling with laughter. And if you've seen the film, then I won't go into it too much, obviously, and if you haven't seen the film, I won't spoil anything. But there's a point where the character of Jim, who nails this, by the way, he's definitely the best part about this film, played by Danny Morgan, is sort of a ginger, chubby guy, who is, he's in his late 20s, he's a virgin, and he's not good with talking to girls and things like that. And he goes up to this sort of good-looking girl in a bar, and is trying to impress her, and he's trying to take tips from his pal, who is very good at that sort of thing. Alex is his name, played by Michael Socka. He goes up and it's like, go and break the ice, but take it literally. So he goes and he orders a drink and he takes the ice cube out of his drink and he goes to break the ice with the girl and smash the ice. And he hits it and the ice sort of slides up from the table and hits her in the face. And things like that I just find the most funny thing in the world. I was howling. It was right at the start of the film as well, so I was like, okay, great. Speaking of the start of the film, it's weird. There's sometimes these really small films, they have really cool opening titles. And another example that comes to mind straight away, weirdly, is Elvis and Nixon from 2016. Such a bizarre underground film, but it's such a fun one to watch. And it's set to set the tone for that sort of fun type of film that you can't really take too seriously, but it's not really a comedy, is the opening titles. They're so awesome, they're so different and unique. It happened for that film. I'm sure it happened for Hell or High Water, which was a top 5 pick for me in 2016, and happened in this as well, Double Date. It started off like a total mad Kill Bill Tarantino-esque opening, where it was like dun dun, there was like animations going about, and the people get their heads chopped off, and like big block capitals and block red names coming up and stuff like that. Really distinctive and really made you take notice. Really set the tone for the type of film it was going to be, because at the start you're kind of like, what the hell are we about to watch here? It goes from quite a bloody, gory sort of opening, gory compared to other horror films, but you know what I mean, there's like a death and there's a stabbing and things like that. You're like, holy shit. Goes to this awesome opening sequence and it goes right into this sort of everyday sort of sitcom from the UK. And I like the fact it was a British film as well. I wasn't expecting it to be a British film. Awesome film. I don't like rating films anymore, but if I was to do it, I'd give it a solid 7.5 to 8. It was very good. Really recommend it. It's one you're definitely going to miss because it's not going to be in cinemas very often, or for very long anyway. It counts as a horror, but it's very light-hearted and really funny and really sweet at some points as well. So thumbs up to Double Date. It's a terrible name for a film, because if you see it you think of a romantic comedy. However, it's a perfect name for the film, because it's literally that. It's a double date that happens and goes horribly wrong. Okay, what's happening next? I don't know. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. I'm joking. This part of the video, I'm so tired. 23rd of October, Monday. Brand new season of The Walking Dead starts tonight, so that can kind of be included here. And WWE TLC was last night, and I haven't watched it yet because I was up late doing other stuff, and I missed it, so I'm going to watch it right after this, after I go for a feckin' sleep. We're going to talk about Psycho right now, quickly. Psycho is the next movie on our list here of scary movies for October 2017. One I've been wanting to watch for a long time, especially in recent months anyway, because I was just exposed to Alfred Hitchcock. And Hitchcock's one of those guys, I've said this on the podcast recently, Alfred Hitchcock is that director that you just say, oh, I love Hitchcock. He's the best. All these great films. He's one of my favourite directors. And then you realise, I haven't seen any Hitchcock films. You just say that because that's what you're supposed to say. And I watched Rear Window recently, and I fell in love with that film. That's a brilliant film. I was like, holy shit, I should watch all these Hitchcock films. And then of course I'm doing this. Let's go watch one of his most famous films ever, if not his most famous. Psycho. It's up there with The Shining as one of my, if not my favourite horror film I've seen this month. I'm not a horror movie fan, as you know from watching this video. And this one was great because it's like, it wasn't particularly scary. The ending's a bit creepy, and of course, you know, I'm going to be spoiling shit in this video. I kind of saw it coming because all your life you hear of Norman Bates and being a psycho. I remember Jerry Lawler always used to refer to it, you know, in his commentary, when like someone would be a bit weird, like with Dean Ambrose or whoever. So being like someone else and thinking you're someone else. I guess Stardust and Cody Rhodes is a good example, like thinking you're someone else sort of thing. It's a wrestling, everything goes back to wrestling, of course it does. So yeah, this is one of my favourite ones I've watched this month. It was in black and white, which is kind of refreshing actually. I don't see many films in black and white these days. I watched 12 Angry Men this year, which is one of my favourite films of the year that I've seen. An all black and white film, and there's something weirdly refreshing about watching a black and white film, especially in this day and age. So it was different, and it stands out in my mind as being one of the films I've watched this month. I loved it. I loved Psycho. It was great. It's a very easy watch. Of course, some horror films are difficult to watch, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and things like that. You're kind of like, oh, just get on with it and scare me and then be done, so I can say I've watched you and I don't need to worry about it anymore. Whereas The Shining's on for like 2.5 hours, and you're like, oh my god, what's happening now? But you don't want it to end because it's so good, but you want it to be over. Psycho was another one that, you know, you're alright with, you know what I mean? Like, you're watching it and you're like, this is good. Wasn't particularly scary, like the whole killing scenes in the shower and stuff is a bit freaky, and the music's going to scare you a little bit. A little bit scary. But yeah, I kind of saw the whole twist coming that he's his mother and stuff. But I love the sort of build up to, you know, the mystery of trying to figure out who he's keeping in the house and is his mother dead sort of thing. He's kind of sweet, but he's not really. Because you don't want to give in to his sweetness, because then you don't want to give up your sort of naivety and sort of, you know, you don't want to trust him because he's a bit weird sort of thing. Kind of makes you uncomfortable, but not in a bad way. It's uncomfortable because he's very awkward. So. Yeah, Psycho was great. That's one of my favourite ones this month. Top 3 this month so far has been The Shining, Psycho and Double Date, actually, the brand new one. Kind of a surprise. So tonight's the new season of The Walking Dead starts, and of course Stranger Things season 2 comes out on the 27th. So again, that can be a part of this. And I want to get a couple more in before the end of the month. But I've been watching Thor the past couple of days. I've watched Thor, and I'm going to watch the Dark World tonight, hopefully. And then the new one comes out on the 27th again, so I'm going to go see Ragnarok as well. So that's kind of taking a break from horror movie month, but that's okay. It's nice to kind of make it change a little bit and get a little bit of refreshments. I'm so tired. I have to go to sleep. I'm going to watch TLC and fall asleep when I'm watching it. So yeah, Walking Dead tonight. So let's report back after I watch the season premiere of The Walking Dead tonight. Okay, welcome back. Last night I watched the season premiere of season 8 of The Walking Dead. One of my favourite TV shows. It has been for a long time now, but maybe not so much in the last few seasons. I've kind of drifted away a little bit, where Walking Dead used to be a weekly routine, literally like every Monday night at 9 until 10. Walking Dead was on, and there was nothing anyone could say, you know, to get me not to watch it, and then it would be new and Practical Jokers would come on. But now, not so much. You know, the last couple of seasons I've kind of been a bit, I'm losing track of a lot of things. I'm not feeling the need to watch it, you know. I feel there's too many characters and stuff to keep up with, and it's just me with my simple mind. But of course I'll still watch it, and I'll still keep up until it ends, because of course they're still writing the comics, so I don't know how much longer it's going to go on, because it could go on forever, who knows. Looking at it as a whole TV show and stuff, it is one of the best of this generation, of course it is. Some of the greatest acting you'll see on television today is on The Walking Dead. You know, Walking Dead is, you know, number 1 and number 2 in terms of most popular TV shows, the other one being Game of Thrones, of course. I've always loved The Walking Dead, and I always make a point to watch it, because it is the only show right now that I watch weekly, you know. Okay, I'll watch it tonight, or it's on tonight, so I'll watch it, sort of thing. So season 8 started off, and I'm not going to give you a breakdown of the episode because I have lost touch of the whole story. Not lost touch, but I'm not as clued up as I should be, I suppose. Whereas I have been watching episodes, but maybe, you know, I've missed some things or I've been on in the background and stuff like that. But I've never really bought the Walking Dead DVDs or anything like that, because it's never been a show that I've been really itching to go back to. I'm a big believer in, if you really love a show, you're alright to watch it a few times, like Breaking Bad or Dexter or things like that in my case, where I've watched them numerous times. Whereas The Walking Dead, I've only watched through it once, apart from the big, you know, and the best episodes where I've watched a couple of times. The big war episode with the governor back in the day, season 4 or season 5, it was totally like a war watching it. It is one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen, and it is my favourite episode of The Walking Dead. I watched that one about 3 times. But in the past couple of seasons, again, not so much. I adore the character of Rick. and Maggie and Daryl, these are my favourite characters and stuff like that, so it's really cool to see them blossom and have new things happen to them, but it is getting quite repetitive, I think. And I love Negan. Negan's a great character. I just think he's, and the actor, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I think his name is, he's feckin' brilliant with that barbed wire baseball bat, a little sort of homage to wrestling there for me as well. But this episode was really good. It got quite a lot of hate online, and I believe it was the 100th episode. I don't know why folk didn't like it. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people really liked it, and people I've spoken to thought it was a bit bleh. I heard the word poor was used. I don't think, a show that is, going to cost that amount of money to make, and with that amount of quality of acting, you cannot call it poor. Maybe it just wasn't your taste, I don't know. But again, it's your typical Walking Dead episode. It confuses me sometimes when people say an episode is better than the other, where a lot of the episodes are similar. The one I was talking about the war, the Great War, was like one of a kind episode. Do you know what I mean? That is fucking incredible. But a lot of them are pretty similar, with a little detail change. Someone goes out on a run for supplies, and then the new episode, there's a new person in charge, and they're preparing for another battle, sort of thing. When they're all pretty similar, in my opinion, and I think that's kind of why I'm kind of losing touch a little bit with the series. I'm happy that it's back, because it feels like forever since the last time I watched that. It was about a year ago, obviously. So yeah, thumbs up for the new episode of The Walking Dead. Definitely better than some of the horror films that I've watched this month. But yeah, let's see what else. We're nearly finished. We're coming to the end of October within a couple of days. I've got a couple more I want to watch, but I've been watching Thor because I'm preparing to go see Ragnarok on Friday. So that's kind of why I've been watching them. But yeah, until the next review, I'll see you.
So it's the last day of October, which means, yes indeed, happy Halloween to each and every single one of you. It's been a journey, hasn't it, to say the least. However, I ain't done yet. Since it's Halloween, I wanted to make a video. I wanted to film purposely on Halloween. It's 8:21 PM on Halloween night, and it's a sad time because Halloween used to be a massive deal here in my street and at my home, where we'd have decorations everywhere and we'd have things coming down from the doors, so it was like a curtain, and I used to come through it like the wrestlers and stuff, and it was just one of the best times of the year was Halloween, because it was like right the first sort of celebration of that sort of last home stretch of the year, we're after Halloween, this lead up to Christmas sort of thing. Halloween's definitely toned down a little bit, and it's quite sad because everyone, when I was younger, we always used to go out trick-or-treating and stuff, and there was a huge group of us. There was loads of us, so many of us, like I don't even know how many, but like kids and people from school and people from nursery, and then mums and dads going about with their younger kids, and their babies were dressed up and stuff. It was a big community would come out at Halloween and just go around all the doors and tell terrible jokes and do terrible things to get candy and to get sweets and stuff like that, and it was just so much fun. And now tonight, 2017, it's just two different occasions the doors went, and they've both been Chinese families, and it's just like, what has the world come to? Because we hate the Chinese, apparently. Halloween is definitely downgraded a little bit, not just because of the Chinese, because of everybody. But yeah, there you go. Halloween, it's just not what it was, all these years ago, and this is the first year in a couple of years that I've not dressed up. Because I guess when you're older, you kind of start dressing up properly and you put money into costumes and stuff, and this year it's been on a Tuesday, so it's like nothing's happening. We're recording a new podcast tomorrow about Thor Ragnarok, and I'm preparing my notes for it now. So I guess that's part of the month. I went to see Thor Ragnarok the other night. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Really loved that new Thor film. I really enjoyed all Thor films. They seem to get a bad reputation, and I was unaware of this until I started watching them. I just thought, yeah, anything Marvel people are going to love, sort of thing. But when I watched back the first two Thor films, I really liked them, and I've been reading online that Thor Ragnarok, it better be good this time, sort of thing. And I thought all three of them were really good, especially Ragnarok. So much fun. Doesn't take itself too seriously. And I mean, I guess that's one gripe about the first two Thor films. They're a bit too serious for a Marvel film. I think like Civil War and Guardians, like they are the perfect Marvel films, because they're so much fun. They're funny and they're serious at points, but not too serious. Whereas DC is just all serious and no comedy. Ragnarok was great, highly recommended. Don't know if it'll be a film of the year sort of thing, but highly recommended. A lot of fun, so go check that out if you can. But the film that we're predominantly talking about right now, I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's not a massive film. It was called The Belko Experiment. It was a film that came out this year, another film from 2017 that was horror based, and that's good because it adds to the list of 2017 films that I've seen this year. A massive list this year. I've done really well. I'm very proud of myself. When I was in the cinema seeing something, I saw this advertised, and it's one of those films that just gets absolutely lost and bombarded with so many other films that you kind of forget about it. But it was a great idea, and it's a really small film that not many people are going to see. And it is a horror film, so again, it's going to be one of those things that people buy the Blu-ray and buy the DVD, and that's how they're going to get to see it. It's never really going to be on TV, and it wasn't in cinemas for very long. It was in cinemas for like, what, a week or something, if that. I was happy that I'd finally got a chance to see it, and I thought I'm going to make a point of watching that one in Horror Movie Month because it's one that I really wanted to see in cinemas. I was lucky to see ones like Flatliners and Double Date, and these are films that I wanted to see in the cinema and was able to catch. This one, not so much. It's basically about an office of hard workers who enjoy their job but really want to go home. And basically they arrive to work one day and the windows are being boarded up and a mysterious voice comes over the intercom and says, "You are now locked in and you have 2 hours to kill 30 people. If you don't do it, we're killing 60 of you." And it's like, oh my god, that's all like the information they get. Are they joking? Are they taking the piss? Are they being serious? And they have to gauge that, So one type of person will be happy to kill anyone, and then there's one person who's trying to sort of get the team together, and there's one person looking out for everybody, and there's one person just thinking it's all a joke, and it's all these different personalities, and then one by one they kind of die off until there's one man standing. It's a really good film. It's a really interesting film to watch. It was a lot of fun to watch because it wasn't me involved. I wasn't dying, so I recommend it. It's when you're not going to see very often or very frequently on TV or whatever. I don't know if you might be on Netflix at some point, but I'm sure the DVD is out soon. You should pick it up because it's really cool. It's a really sort of small idea. It's a bit like The Purge. I thought The Purge was a great idea, but it wasn't particularly executed the best way, I didn't think. I wasn't a huge fan. I like them, they're fine, but that's a great idea. The Purge is brilliant. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's written, it's based on a book, but The Purge is brilliant. It's a great idea. And the films just aren't that good. This is another one, but the film is a little bit, closer to being really good than The Purge is. So, really cool idea, really cool concept, some good performances, some actually not too bad, effects in terms of, like the bloodiness and stuff like that. They're all chipped and stuff in the back of their head. They've got like a sensor, and at any point you can unplug the sensor and it explodes inside their brain. Total silly horror these days, but quite fun to watch. So the Belko Experiment, thumbs up for that. And it is Halloween, so it is the last day in October, the last day of Horror Movie Month. But I'm going to try and fit a film in and then add it to this wonderful video diary that I have been working on the past month that it's going to take forever to render, but whatever. So, yeah, we'll see what else we can catch before it officially ends.
Okay, final film of Horror Movie Month since we are now into November, but I don't care because I've lost all faith in this whole month video thing. So, Horror Movie Month, plus a few days. Here we go. The next film, the last film we're going to talk about is a new film, 2017 film, by the name of The Killing of a Sacred Deer. That's right, starring Nicole Kidman and Colin Farrell. And I saw this in the cinemas the other day, and what an experience that was. We went into this film pretty blind. I'd seen the trailer, and I'd seen them talk about it on Graham Norton, which is definitely, the Graham Norton show, definitely my favourite chat show. And speaking of favourite television programmes, I never got a chance to watch the new Stranger Things this month yet. Anyway, I'm going to plan on binging on it at some point. I saw this on Graham Norton and I thought that's going to be interesting, and we were looking for a film to see every Thursday, which is what we do. And we chose this one just because it was a bit of a blind, pick, I suppose. We did a blind buy. I didn't really know what to think of it because I saw it was a bit weird, and it was kind of listed under mystery rather than horror. And I thought that still counts, doesn't it? So I went to see it. I like Colin Farrell. I don't have anything against Nicole Kidman. And I'm going to get the IMDb page up on my phone because I want to give a special shout out to the actor, the sort of young 16-year-old boy by the name of Martin, and his acting name, or his name, is Barry Keoghan. He's in Dunkirk, he was in 71. There he is there. There's the boy himself. Kind of weird looking fella. Cheek coming from myself. He definitely stole the show here. He's just such a weird motherfucker. And what the whole story is about is basically Colin Farrell's character is a surgeon, and in surgery he accidentally kills this young boy by the name of Martin. He kills Martin's father in surgery because he was intoxicated with alcohol, and now this Martin guy is very unstable, and now he's sort of latching on to Colin Farrell's character Stephen, just in hope of having another father, basically. And then when Colin Farrell doesn't give Martin the love back, then Martin starts threatening to kill members of Colin Farrell's family. So it was very weird, and I loved the tension and the anticipation of what was going to happen, because you really didn't know what was going to happen, which is what you need in a horror film. I had an issue with some of the films this month because they were so predictable, but sometimes that can be a good thing. Like I saw a film recently called The Mountain Between Us with Idris Elba and Kate Winslet. Was it Kate Winslet? I think it was. And you knew it was going to happen in the end. There was no, what's going to happen here? It's such a mystery, but it was good. I liked the idea of the fact that you knew it was going to happen, because then you could kind of piece together the parts and then kind of match up and marry up, and it really worked. So the fact that I didn't know it was going to happen was a little bit refreshing, I suppose, which is good. Didn't know it was going to happen. The tension was going mental, and so tense, in fact, that someone in the cinema fainted. I have a really pet peeve with the cinema. I'm at the cinema an awful lot these days, every week, every Thursday. And I have a real pet peeve when something is happening on the screen that I'm so, in the film, and I'm watching the film and my nails are gone, I've bitten on my nails and my eyes are wide open and I'm so invested in a film, and then someone just leaves the cinema, whether they go to the toilet or whatever. It's just so annoying. It's so disengaging. It's really annoying. So there's a part in this film where Colin Farrell's character is just absolutely broken. He's breaking down and he's in tears and he just can't hold on to tears anymore. And I'm sitting there watching it and I was like, I've not seen many Colin Farrell films, but this is definitely the best I've ever seen. And I'm like, oh my god, Colin, I feel so bad for you. And then folks just start leaving. I said, where are you going? Why do you have to leave now? Maybe because, something bad's going to happen and I'm scared. But he's crying, he's really sad. And the whole thing is really sad. Enjoy it, enjoy the sadness. These people leave and it was really annoying. And then a couple minutes later they come back with someone, one of the workers from the cinema, and I was like, what the hell's happening here? And I look over and one of their pals has just fainted, passed out unconscious. They had to carry him out. Thankfully the end of the film was coming very soon, but the tension of the film and the music in this film, what the hell, it's more like just sound rather than music. It's like guitars screeching but loads of drums, and it's like the sound of a motorbike going by. It's also the sound of a train crash, kind of all put into the one. It's like at different points just to build up the tension, and it gets really loud at some points, and you're just like, oh my god, which is what I like in horror films. I don't like horror films, as you can probably tell, so watching this one actually gave a little bit of energy to it, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. I really, really enjoyed this film. I can't recommend this film enough. Very, 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 very weird. Very weird. Not as weird as A Cure for Wellness, which I saw this year, which was a piece of nonsense. But this one was very, 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 very weird in a good way. Really recommend this film for something different, for something refreshing, and just to be freaked out a little bit, that you kind of want to see what's going to happen. When I've been watching these horror films, I've been freaked out, wanting it to end. Whereas this film, it's like, what is going to happen? I really feel bad for Colin Farrell's character, but you also kind of feel bad for Martin, even though he's so unstable. He just wants things to be, he doesn't know any better. He just wants things to be normal again. Really good film. Highly recommended, and so bizarre. Just one of the weirdest films of all time, which is probably not, but just because I've not seen too many weird films, I suppose. One of the weirdest films I've ever seen. I'm going to remember that cinema experience for a long time. So yeah, check that one out if you can. And this has been fun. Let's see what else we have in store this month. Not much, I hope. I've been tense the last few weeks. Maybe because of this and that. Some few personal issues maybe. But I'll tell you why I've been feeling stressed, tense, afraid, frustrated the past couple of weeks. That is because, for the purposes of YouTube and the purposes of creating a video, I, Chris Moffat, the host of the Good Bit podcast, have endured hell this past month because I have deemed this past month horror movie month. I hate horror films. And just because October 2017 was Horror Film Month doesn't mean I now like horror films. Doesn't mean my opinion of them changed throughout the month just because I got scared a little bit when I watched The Shining. And I think horror movies are a waste of time. I watched The Shining this month and I watched Psycho. Two films that I thought were feckin' brilliant. Two films out of the whole month that I will carry for the rest of my life and would be honoured to have in my Blu-ray movie collection. But the rest of the month was spent being scared and watching pish. Now that could be my fault, that could be because I didn't pick the right horror films to watch. I could have watched Halloween. I could have watched The Sixth Sense. Those were my plans. But after watching things like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Flatliners and some other pish like 47 Metres Down, I was refraining myself and stopping myself from putting myself through any more pain. And it's not because I'm just a scaredy cat or whatever. I've never been in the mood to watch a horror film. I put myself in the mood to watch a horror film for this feckin' video and for this feckin' month. Now yeah, it's good to have opinions on these things. It's good to want to watch different types of films. And I was going to watch Halloween and The Sixth Sense and other classic horror films to close out this video. But I've decided against it. Because I've had a horrible time this month. I've had a horrible experience for this video. For the rest of the year, 2017, I'm going to be watching some 2017 released films so I can compile my top 10 for the podcast that will be filmed and recorded in January. And then when December comes, I'll be watching some Christmas films. So do I want to go and revisit some horror films just because it's no longer October? No, so I'm not going to do it. I regret my choice for October. I'm happy I've found films like The Shining and Psycho. But other than that, there's been no real redeeming quality to this month, has there? I now know who Leatherface is. I now know who was responsible for the Belko experience. However, I did enjoy Double Date. That was a good laugh. It was. It was a good laugh. Of course, I'm partially kidding. Partially because I did not really enjoy some of these films this month. I'm glad it's over. I'm not going to lie to you. However, this has been a good fun. It's been a lot of fun putting together this video and putting together this month of films and a bit more knowledge for myself in terms of horror films. And I did want to watch Halloween and The Sixth Sense and things like that, but I just run out of time. And I want to watch some more films that were released this year, just so I can start making my favourites and what ones to leave out of the list and what ones not to, sort of thing. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching this video. If you have, if you enjoyed it, please share it and leave a comment, leave a like, that'd be great. Subscribe if you want some more content, because that's the goal just now. And you can check the podcast out on iTunes and on Podomatic and on Podbean and on Reddit and on Twitter at The Good Bit Pod. Lots of good stuff on there. Check it out if you can. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. I'm Chris Moffat of The Good Bit Podcast. And to every single horror film out there, Alpha Fan Napoli! Hey! Yeah!